Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be talking about the 13 classic Doctor Who stories I haven't seen yet. Such a fun, mysterious number. Seemed like a good time to do an updated video on these stories I haven't seen yet. Since I have seen some for the first time recently, I got to watch Snake Dance recently. I don't think those reviews will be up by the time this goes up, but I have seen that. Reviews are coming if they haven't come out yet. I've seen The Invisible Enemy, which was the only Tom Baker I hadn't seen. I'm now seeing all of Tom's run. And with the Season 9 box set coming out, excuse me, I've also watched The Mutants and the Time Monster. So I've seen every John Pertwee story. I have seen every story from 1970s Doctor Who. The first decade of Doctor Who I've completed from Classic Who. So that's really neat. And with several of those knocked out of the way recently, there are only 13 stories from Classic Who I haven't seen yet. And only 3 of those are complete. And only 2 of those are stories from the color era of Doctor Who, from the 70s and 80s. So there's only 2 color era Doctor Who stories I haven't seen yet. And that is The King's Demons and The Awakening. Both 5th Doctor stories. I haven't seen those yet, although I do believe Simon has mentioned that he has a copy of The Awakening coming. And I think a copy of the special edition of Planet of Fire, because I've only seen the regular version of Planet of Fire. That was Alice, actually. One of my patrons, Alice, had requested that I watch that. So I had watched the original version of it. I'd found it online and watched it, and did a review for that for her. But I'd never seen the special edition, so I believe he has that coming as well. So I should have The Awakening knocked out soon, which will just leave King's Demons. Although I have been told by a few people that King's Demons isn't the best in the world and to not get my hopes up. Now, going to the other 11 stories from the 60s, only one of those is complete, and that is The Censorites. I've never seen The Censorites. I've also been told I'm not missing a lot. I remember when I was doing a video, it was one of the It's Armageddon's, and it was the one about what if you had to sacrifice one story from each season of Classic Who? What if you had to give the aliens one story from each season of Classic Who? In the comments section, I had to do a Knights of the Round Table video discussing those comments. Because for season 1, so many of the comments was the Censorites, the Censorites, the Censorites, the Censorites. I was sitting there going, obviously the Censorites isn't the best in the world. Like, I even got to where I was joking about it. It's like, oh, look, there's our friend, the Censorites again. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of surprised no one sent that. After that video, when I was constantly joking about it, I would not have been surprised if someone had sent it just as an inside joke or just to pick at me. I was kind of surprised a copy of it never came. Because I had a laugh riot talking about that, quite honestly. But I've never seen the Censorites. And the other one I've never seen from season 1 is Marco Polo, which I know is completely missing. Now, a little asterisk there. I have watched the 30-minute cut down. That's on the beginning DVD collection with the first 3 stories. It does have a 30-minute cut down of Marco Polo. I have watched that reconstruction, but I've never watched the full 7-episode reconstruction, so I still haven't scratched it off the list yet. I just feel like it would be really hard to get through 7 parts reconstructed, especially considering I know episode 4 doesn't have telesnaps, so they have to get creative with that. The next one on the list, of course, I've seen all of season 2. The next one on the list is the Myth Makers I've never seen. But again, little asterisk by that, I've read the Target novelization of the Myth Makers, which I did enjoy, but I do know that the TV story and the novelization are a bit different, especially from the point of view they're told from. Now, I know the Myth Makers is completely missing, and I know it doesn't have a lot of telesnaps. I know while John Wiles was the producer, he didn't really employ John Cura, so we don't have a lot of telesnaps for a lot of those stories. Myth Makers is one of those, so I don't know how good the recon for it is, but I haven't seen it. Now, next up is Dalek's Master Plan. I have never seen Dalek's Master Plan. I have seen Mission to the Unknown. I've seen the college remake of it, the live-action remake, which was really good. And then just recently, I watched the unofficial Ian Levine animation. I don't know if that review is going up before or after this, but I do have a review for that done. and I like Mission of the Unknown. But I have never watched Dallas Master Plan. I know only 3 episodes survived, the rest is missing, and again, probably not a lot of telesnaps for it. So I haven't seen that. I've also never seen The Massacre, which I know is completely missing. Not a lot of telesnaps from it either. I don't know a lot of what it's about. I know it's in the past. Obviously, there's a massacre. And I know Hartnell's playing dual roles in it, but I don't know a lot about it, which I kind of like. I kind of like going into stories blind. I don't know if it's one that would ever be animated. I don't know. Historicals tend to be hard to animate just because there's so many people and so many moving parts. I don't know if The Massacre would be viable for an animation. I also don't know how good the audio quality is on it. Again, I don't really know a lot about that one. But I've never seen it, and I've also never seen The Savages, which is, of course, also completely missing. Although I do think we have a lot of telesnaps for The Savages. And I know I think the ending with Steven still exists, but I have never seen it as well. Rounding out season 3. Moving on to season 4, The Smugglers, I've never seen. I'm waiting on that one. I really want to see The Smugglers. I really have an interest in that, partially probably just because it's season 4. I have a strong love for season 4. Partially just because of the idea of like pirates and stuff. I kind of like that. I know all 4 episodes are missing, and of course there is that rumor from the Mirror that it's getting animated, so I am waiting to see what's happening with that. Because if it does get animated, a reconstruction will be on there too. So, and if they are starting up the animations again with Underwater Menace and Smugglers, and how are they going to do them? Are they going to be in color? Are they going to be in black and white? You know, we don't know quite what's going to happen with this new funding. So it'll be interesting to see all the different variations of that. I'm sure a recon would be on there. I would watch that as well. I'm very interested in seeing The Smugglers. But if it's going to be animated, I'll wait for it to be animated. Next on the list is The Highlanders. But, little asterisk again, I have read the Target novelization of The Highlanders, which I very much enjoyed. I've done a review for that, and I liked it. There was a lot of really humorous bits in it, and a lot of other parts that I thought were well written. Unlikely to get animated, I think, being in the past, being so many extras running around. Plus, I know their kilts would be hard to animate, much like Patrick's trousers were in the original Power of the Daleks. So I think there's a strong chance this one won't be animated, so I'll probably will end up watching a recon of that, but it probably won't be until the season 4 box set comes out, since I have already read the novel. But technically I haven't seen it, so it's on the list. Next is The Underwater Menace. I haven't seen that one. I know episodes 2 and 3 survive, 1 and 4 are missing, and I know the official recon on that DVD release was supposed to be awful. I've heard stories it's terrible. So I have avoided watching it. I know, according to the Mirror, it's going to be animated as well. It'll be interesting to see what they do there. Are they just going to animate episodes 1 and 4? Are they going to animate the whole thing? Is it going to be just in black and white? Is it going to be black and white and color? Are they going to colorize the 2 surviving episodes? I'm curious to find out what all they're going to do there with that. Underwater Menace is another one I'm interested in, partially because half of it survives. It seems kind of a tongue-in-cheek one, like it's not to be taken seriously, kind of, very Horns of Nimon-like, and if you accept it for what it is, you can have fun with it. I've heard episode 3 is not the best, but that episode 2 is pretty good. So I think I'm going to go into it with that approach of just silly fun, Horns of Nimon, and I'll probably like it. Plus, half of it survives. I tend to love Troughton's performance. Troughton is my second favorite Doctor, and I love watching his performances. So, anytime I get to see a surviving episode of Troughton, I'm going to be happy. Much less 2 surviving episodes of Troughton. I'm going to be happy. So I am looking forward to Underwater Menace. I do hope it gets animated. That's one I'm really excited about. Next on the list is The Wheel in Space. I've never seen that. I know episodes 3 and 6 survive. I'm curious whether this one will get animated. I figured being a Cyberman story and Zoe's first story that it would sell well, but I don't know. I have watched that 10-minute cut down of episode 1 that's on the Massacre release, and I did like it. So I am curious to see whether it gets animated or not. I do like the fact the final episode survives. That's a big deal for me. I love when a final episode survives. Doesn't happen often enough. So, excuse me. If it's not animated, I think I'll be able to get through a telesnap reconstruction of it. But I'm waiting to see if they will animate it before I watch it. And I believe the last one on the list is the Space Pirates. I've never seen the Space Pirates. I know I've been told I'm not missing much. I, on the other hand, always fire back with it's Robert Holmes. Don't discount Robert Holmes. And then immediately I remember he wrote Power of Kroll, and I'm like, But of course, even he thought Power of Kroll was a terrible idea. And well, I believe he's on the record stating that. I know episode 2 of Space Pirates survives and is on 35mm film. I don't know what they'll do for the season 6 box set, especially since we've heard news recently of Fraser Hines saying he's recorded Behind the Sofa for Mind Robber. So obviously season 6 is being worked on, or will probably come sooner than later. So it'll be interesting to see what they do for season 6. Obviously not an animation, because they would do that as an individual release first. But whether they'll do audio only, whether they'll try to cobble together some pictures, whether maybe they'll do some just animated stills as pictures to stand in, maybe like a recon but with animation shots. We'll see. I'm curious to see what they do there with that. But I don't think Space Pirates is that big of a deal to people. But I'd still like to, I'd still like to see it. And again, it's at least one surviving episode of Trouton. And on 35mm film, it'll probably look good in HD. So I'll probably just wait until the box set comes out and watch it. So that's, I think that's all 13. I think I covered them all. Again, most of them are missing stories, stories that aren't complete. Only Sensorites, Awakening, and King's Demons are complete. But you got some in there that are partially complete, half complete, Underwater Menace being half complete, and some others sprinkled in there. So we'll see. I am looking forward to seeing all of them eventually, even the ones I've already read the novelizations for, Marco Polo, where I've seen the cut down. I am looking forward to eventually seeing them and talking about them and reviewing them, etc. So I'd like to know, what do you think of these 13 stories? Which ones you like, which ones you don't care for? Comment down below and let me know. Other things to do. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. I certainly appreciate that. That helps me grow the channel. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers this year, and we are on our way to that. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me that way. There's a link to that down in the description below. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons: Unknown289, Finn Perkins, Colin Coney, and Stephen Crane. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review, Doctor Who related or otherwise. And a link to my Amazon wish list with all sorts of little goodies is down there as well. Most importantly, thank you for watching.